Wow. Long time coming, but we made it. Yes, after what seems like an eternity of looking for the right camera and the right sound equipment and the right lighting and oh god, all kinds of rubbish that I just can't even begin to remember, really. It's been months. I bought one camera, I travelled all the way up to London, bought another camera, sold that camera, and bought another one, and then that didn't turn out to be right, and so I got another one. Oh, it has been an utter nightmare, but we made it. We're here. This is hopefully the right one, and I'm hopefully coming across loud and clear, and we can finally start. Scully, it's been a nightmare. I want to talk to you about something that is both a blessing and a curse. I want to talk to you about something that is both a good thing and a bad thing. I want to talk to you about something that is a hell to live with and yet is actually quite easy to live with compared to a lot of other things. I want to talk to you about Asperger's syndrome. I want to talk to you about Asperger's syndrome, or Asperger's syndrome, however you want to pronounce it. I say Asperger's syndrome because it's named after a guy called Hans Asperger, and he was a German, so I simply pronounce it the way that he would have pronounced it, which is with a hard G, Asperger, as opposed to Asperger, in the same way that we say Hermann Goering as opposed to Hermann Göring. So, I'm Jono, I'm 35, and I have Asperger's. Oh, it feels so good to get that off my chest. Right, so I have Asperger's. As most people know, nowadays at least, Asperger's syndrome is a disability. It's a mild form of autism. Yes, hurrah! I am on the autistic spectrum. I feel so proud. I was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome when I was about 14 after quite a difficult time at school. I was at secondary school for just 3 years. Did I just say 3 years? Strike that, reverse it. I was in secondary school for 3 days, not 3 years. I wish I'd done the years, believe me. No, I was at secondary school for 2... Let's start again. I was at secondary school for 3 days. I left school after 3 days, secondary school after 3 days, had a massive breakdown, and then a short time after that I was diagnosed with Asperger's. So, who am I? 24601! I am currently living in a converted garage, which is now an annex. I'm living on the same premises as my parents because at the moment I've got no money. Simple as that. I'm going to be covering quite a lot of things. I'm going to talk about where I was born. I'm going to talk about my upbringing, my life as a child. I'm going to talk about my life at school, all the stages of school, young school and primary school, secondary school. I'm going to talk about my life at university because yes, oh my god, I did actually manage to go to university and study a proper university course. 3 years, I lived away from home and everything. I'm also going to be talking about things that I've achieved in the more recent years of my life since I was diagnosed, but things that I never ever thought in a million years that I would end up achieving. Experiences I never thought I'd end up doing, places I've been to that I never thought I'd end up going to, and just extraordinary moments in my life that have really helped me over the years, because I went through a very long depression. 13 years I went through depression after I left school, and it was just such a dark period in my life where I just felt like ending my life. I came so close to wanting to actually end my life, but as I say, in the more recent years, in the last 10 years, things have really started to happen for me. Maybe not so much now because of COVID and everything, but in general, things have started happening for me. As I say, I went to uni. I learned how to drive. I passed my test. But we are going to talk about my life with girlfriends and my life cohabiting with people, and we're going to talk about what I like and what I don't like in the world. We're going to talk about my hobbies. We're going to talk about my profession. I'm a magician. I'm a self-employed magician, and because of COVID this year, I just haven't worked this year at all. All of my bookings have been pushed back to next year, and I don't have money. I don't have income because I can't get jobs. No one will have me because I don't have A-levels or GCSEs or anything like that. Interviews, if I'm lucky enough to get one, just don't go well for me because it always goes the same way. Do you have A-levels? No. Do you have GCSEs? No. Can you do your times tables? No. Do you have any experience? No. Goodbye. So yeah, jobs are hard to come by for me because bottom line is, other than do a few fancy things with a deck of cards, I can't do anything. Not professionally. I'm going to take a swig of my water. One moment. Do you like this? My skull goblet. Yeah, just a little quirky thing I picked up over Halloween one time. It is unbelievably hot. I'm recording this in August, and it's warm down in Cornwall this year. This year, of course, being slightly awkward because of COVID and all that nonsense that's been going on this year, 2020. Anyway, where was I? Oh yes, Asperger's. Asperger's, it's an autistic spectrum disorder, and it can, of course, like with anything else, it can vary from person to person. Everyone's different. But with me, it means that I have social anxiety and I have difficulty understanding things like body language and facial expression. I especially have difficulty with numbers. I guess, although I haven't officially been diagnosed with this, you could say that it's kind of like dyscalculia, which is sort of dyslexia with numbers, I've been told. I can't do basic math, I can't do my times tables. Well, I can. I think when it comes to numbers, for me, it's to do with memory. It's to do with long-term memory. I don't have the long-term memory for numbers. When it comes to literacy, words and letters, I would say, I'm speaking for myself, but I would say that I'm above average. I have a good memory for words and letters. My spelling and reading is exceptional. I can memorize scripts and documents fairly quickly and easily with not much hassle. But when it comes to numbers, my long-term memory is just kaput. I just cannot store numbers in my head. I can learn my times tables and other things fairly quickly, and they'll stay in there for about, I'd say maybe 24 hours in my experience anyway. But then after that, it just sort of fades away and it just drifts away into the ether, and that's kind of how it works for me, or doesn't work, I should say. So yeah, I can't do basic math and any other kind of math, just don't ask. I'm kind of fortunate. Some would say maybe not, but I consider myself rather fortunate that I live in a day and age where I'm never that far away from a calculator. These days I live in an age where there's a calculator on my wrist or on my phone or that sort of thing. But generally I just tend to stay away from math or keep it away from me. My profession, I'll come back to my profession in a minute because I think that's something I can talk about today. Luckily my profession doesn't require me to do that much in the way of math. So guess you could say, don't get me wrong, I think learning math is a very important thing. I do get what people say about how mathematics can be magical, and how, you know, when you think about it properly, if you're able to think about it properly, math can be a wonderful, wonderful thing. And I completely agree with that. And my hat goes off to people that can do it. You're very, very lucky if you know a lot of math. You're very, very lucky. But I just have to accept the fact that I can't really do it. You know, there are those out there that will probably say, "Oh, you can learn it." There are tons of different ways of learning your multiplications and all that stuff. Believe me, I've tried every single known method of learning all kinds of math over the years. I'm 35. I've had a long time to try to learn basic math. I can't do it. I can't do it. Anyway, yeah, but I tend not to focus on what I can't do in my life. I focus on what I can do, and what I can do is magic. I've been doing that since I was 4. I'll talk about this in more depth in another video, but yeah, when I was 4 I got into magic, and I've loved it, you know, as a hobby and as a profession. I've been doing it professionally for about, coming up to about, when did I start doing it professionally? 5 years, 5-6 years, maybe a bit more. Yeah, and it's basically the only thing that I'm good at. No, I am good at other things, but magic, I think, is the only thing I'm good at to a professional standard. It's the only thing I'm good at where, you know, that I can get paid for. So yeah, if people want to get hold of me for a wedding or corporate function or a party or a restaurant or something, then that's what I do. And obviously this year, it being August, I haven't worked at all this year. I was going to, I had bookings, but of course all my bookings got pushed back to next year. So it's been one long, boring year so far for me, and I'm probably not the only one. But it's just the way it is. Can't do anything about it. It is the way it is, and you just got to grin and bear it and get on with life the best you can, which is what I do. So, life with Asperger's, what's it like? It's, for me personally, it's a bit of a lonely life. I won't deny that. I try to be honest with myself. I don't have much in the way of a social life. I don't really go out much with people, simply because I don't really enjoy that kind of thing much, really. I don't talk about what other people talk about. I don't do what other people do. I don't like things like football and sport, and I don't watch the nonsense that's on television nowadays, things like Strictly Come Dancing, or I Used to Be a Celebrity, Get Me a Career, or anything like that. And I think that I missed television in the 90s when television was entertaining. It's not today. It's just a bunch of tired old celebrities doing stuff that's not interesting, like dancing and eating maggots in a jungle, and it doesn't grip me at all. So I don't watch telly. I don't go out much. Well, I do go out. I do go out. I love walking. Walking's something I love to do. I could walk for miles and miles and miles. I live in Cornwall, so there's plenty of places to choose from. Although it is pretty crowded in Cornwall this time of the year. But I love walking, and I love exercising, and I love exploring and going on adventures and discovering new things and that sort of thing. I just don't go out with people because I don't like what people like, and people don't like what I like. It's that simple, really. You could look at that as being a bit of a shame. As I said earlier, it's a blessing and a curse. It can be looked upon as a shame, but on the other hand, it could be looked upon as good opportunities to be by myself and gather my thoughts and not be stressed all the time, and that sort of thing. Although I do get stressed a lot, that's just one of the many perks of having Asperger's. Because of my Asperger's, I am highly creative. As most people with autism or autistic spectrum disorders are. I like to write and draw. I write a lot. I like to write a lot of scripts and fan scripts and fan fiction, things like that. I love to build. I build models. I once built a model of the TARDIS from scratch. When I say from scratch, I mean I didn't use any instructions at all. I didn't use any blueprints or schematics, or I didn't have any diagrams in front of me. I just, for some reason, my mind just went. A few months later, I had this model of the TARDIS that I had built out of nothing. And it didn't look half bad, considering. It wasn't perfect by any means, but even had a flashing light bulb at the top, and I was pretty proud of that, actually. But yeah, I like making models and little model kits, things like model planes and cars and that sort of thing. I haven't done that for a while, but it's what I used to do when I was a kid. I also like playing games. I'm a gamer. I'm a retro gamer. I love nostalgia. So I play a lot of games. I've got tons of consoles up on my shelves here. I've got the old Nintendos and the old Segas and the old Amigas and things like that, and I play non-stop retro gaming. I just love nostalgia. I also watch a lot of TV shows and films, particularly films. I'm a huge film buff. I love to watch old classics. I'm a sucker for the old classics. I'm a huge fan of Hitchcock. I love Hitchcock films. Suspenseful films from back in the 50s and 60s. I like some classic horror. I never used to like horror. That's one thing that's changed over the years. When I was a kid, I couldn't watch anything to do with horror when I was a kid, but now I'm a grown-up, I just can't get enough of it. I love, I love really intense horror stuff like The Exorcist and slasher films and that sort of thing. So yeah, that's basically me in a nutshell, introducing myself, and there'll be more to come. If you would like to ask a question or find out a bit more about me, please comment below. Or you can visit any of my social pages. There'll be links down below as well. Take a look at those. In the meantime, take care, my friends, and remember to aspire.